Well, I'm going to just go through the whole process. So we are going to create a new drawing. So we have a drawing. And if I were interested in modifying this sheet format, I would do what? I would say File, Save Sheet Format. So the format is the ink. I'd say Save Sheet Format. And then I would need to go into wherever the sheet formats are located, which is in CSE Ink Sheet Formats. So we can see them all there. And I would make this a -temp because I'm going to show you an example. Okay. So just because I created it does not mean that that's the format I'm using. And if we right click and go to properties, I would find that it is in my list because I put it in that folder. You can see it's -temp, right? Or I could browse out to it and find it. And by applying it, I would be putting -temp into practice. So it is actually attached to -temp. Now, how would I know that? Well, let's just do a little note so that we know that it is in temp format. Right? That's all we need. Just a note. It's going to show that it's in there, and that way it's easy to see. So I've got quite a little mess, and I've got a sheet format with a temp, and if I go to properties, I can load the 2018, and you'll notice my note goes away. So I've just swapped out the temp sheet format. So I apply it back in. Whoops. Properties, reload. Oh, forgive me, I didn't save it. So we need to save it. So I'm going to edit sheet format. I'm going to add a note. So temp sheet format. We'll make it big. We'll say OK. I don't want that. Whatever. So temp sheet format. Now I would save this and say save sheet format. I'm going to save over temp. So I'll say save. It says it already exists. And at this point, I'm going to close everything. And we're going to create a new drawing. Now it's going to use the CSE 18 format. If I want to swap out to my sheet format, right? There it is. If I want to swap back, I would simply pick the old one and hit apply. So I've changed the ink out on the paper. Now, if I want to change the paper itself, that's the template. The template is the paper. And so I would need to do a file and save as, and then pick template. Does that make sense? And we would want to drive that into wherever the templates are. So if I go up a level, it's SOLIDWORKS template. So you might want to highlight that. Engineering, SOLIDWORKS, SOLIDWORKS templates, CSE Ink. All our sheet formats, our templates, are in this top level. And now that I clicked on the name, it's going to use the name, right? So I'm going to again say temp and hit save. Now, oh, it's outside the database. So of course it is, because yeah, so I'm going to save it back in and just see if it did save it. Oop, I went one in. Yeah, it did not. So I need to hit shift when I do this. So I'm going to do file, shift, save as, because now it'll allow me to save outside of DBWorks, which I need. And you know that it's working because you have all these options, where if I just hit save as, there are no options. So it's locked. It's DBWorks is going to control it. But if I hit shift, file, shift, save as, now I have all these options. So I'll be able to save outside the DBWorks. And so I'm going to pick template. I'm going to pick CSE 18, and I'm going to call this -temp and hit OK. All right. So I am currently working in the CSE temp sheet format. Now, all that is, that's just the paper, right? If I want, I could delete the format. Now I have no format. I do have an image. So if I want to edit that, get rid of the image. This can be my blank sheet format, right? So if I do a file and a shift save as, I'm going to save over my template here and save it as a blank. So there's no format involved. Okay? So how would I use that? Well, by default, I'm going to use whatever is set in options. So if I go to default templates, by default, it's going to use the CSE BCSE, right? And it's always going to use these. Now, if I say prompt the user, if I change it, now when I say file new, and I want to create a new sheet format, it's saying, oh, you have that option. Like, so if I want the blank one, I'm going to pick temp because it's in my list because I saved it in the same place, right? So this one's the blank one. And now let's say, oh, I want my sheet format, the temp sheet format. So I'm going to apply that. And you can see that all loaded up. Oh, that's not what I want. I'm going to go to properties and change out to the proper 18.8 sheet format. See where I'm going with this? So now if I wanted to, if I saved this over, I did a shift save as, and I'd save this as my template, I could save over my temp, and then it'll have this 2018-8 sheet format in it. I'm going to replace it, close. Now, when I create a new file, file new, and I pick temp, you can notice that the sheet format is already assigned in there. So I think those things should make some sense. I think I'm going to leave these in and let you see it and review it. And once you've confirmed, then we can delete them out. We'll go from there.